Hello everyone, and welcome to a game a lot of you recommended as soon as it finished. It's from the final round of the Sinquefield Cup, Nodirbek Abdusattorov versus Jan Nepomniachtchi. It's a very short game, really awesome one, but just inform you, the tournament is effectively over, in the sense that we know the winner of the tournament. The winner is, same as in 2022, Alireza Firuzja. He won in the final round. He played against Pragnananda. He only needed a draw. Fabiano Caruana is still playing his game against Anish Giri, and it does seem like he will win. So he was very, very close, but yeah, Alireza only needed a draw. He had the white pieces against Prague, and it was a pretty tough fight. But in the end, he did get the draw and the win in the event. But again, this is the one that you guys suggested, and since you guys love head-to-head scores so much, Nodirbek never defeated Nepo in Classical. They played 3 games in Classical, 2 of them were a draw, and 1 was won by Nepo. Now, knowing that, let's head straight into this one. Nodirbek with white opens with pawn to d4. We have knight to f6, knight f3, we have g6 and pawn to c4, and bishop to g7, the king's Indian defense is on the board, knight c3 and pawn to d5, we have pawn to e3 and the castle's king side, we have bishop to d2, pawn to c6 and queen to b3. And there are some moves that are popular here in the something like pawn to e6, d captures and c4, pawn to b6, but queen to b6 is a fairly rare move, and this is what Nepo plays against Nodirbek. Nodirbek declines the queen trade, just goes queen a3, puts pressure on the e7 pawn, and Nepo plays bishop to f5, continues development, offers the e7 pawn. And while you could capture it, it is definitely a bit too dangerous. For example, queen captures on b2, and now after rook to c1, you will get so much development, like rook to e8, the queen comes to d6, you will play knight a6, then the rook comes to d8, something like bishop e2 if you want a castle, rook a d8, queen g3, now d captures on c4, and the white's position is just really bad. The knight, well, b5, b4 is coming, knight can come to e4 to attack the queen, knight can come to h5, so many really nice moves for black. So there's no reason to do this. After bishop to f5, Nodirbek played rook to c1 and knight b to d7. There is a game, interestingly, from 1942, so played during World War II between Vladimir Alortsev and Georgy Lisitsyn, and the game ended in a draw after rook to c8. But here we have knight b to d7, and it is now as of move 9 that we have a completely new game. So okay, c captures on d5, we have c captures on d5, and now bishop to e2. Finally, Nodirbek is ready to castle. And we have rook f to c8. We have castle's king side. Again, if captures on e7, the problem is no longer queen captures on b2. The problem now is bishop to f8, and your queen is trapped. So after rook f to c2, we have castle's king side, and now bishop to f8. We have knight to a4 going after the queen, and queen back to d8. And now queen b3, again putting pressure on that b7 pawn. Rook c to b8, and knight back to c3. Now putting pressure on the d5 pawn, and Nepo just defends, pawn to e6. And you can see, as usual, Nepo playing pretty much blitz in a classical game. He still has an hour and 25 minutes on the clock, but Nodirbek also very fast, an hour and 19 minutes on the clock. We have h3, knight to e4, and pawn to g4, going after the bishop here. And this is the first real think of the game. As you can see, some 16 minutes spent by Nodirbek to play this g4 move. And the question is, why did Nepo allow this? Well, he will, of course, free the e4 square, knight captures on c3, bishop captures on c3, and just bishop to e4. We have knight to e5, knight captures, d captures, and queen to h4. So Nodirbek did double his pawns here, but he has a very clear idea of what he's doing. Now, you could play king to h2 to just defend the h3 pawn and then face something like pawn to d4, but bishop to e1. Now the trick is f3 with an attack on the queen and on the bishop. So what was the idea after queen captures on h3? This is exactly what Nepo played, and it is the best move recommended by the engine. Again, pawn to f3, as checkmate was threatened here by the queen and the bishop. And now, bishop to h6 was played here. And this now creates a very, very complicated position. And you can see that Nepo played it he spent a minute on the clock for this bishop to h6 move, which is a losing move. But just to show you what Nepo should have played here, such a complicated line that I don't think anyone finds this, but I will show it to you. This is the best line probably you've seen on the entire internet today. Rook to c8. Okay, it's definitely a move that comes to mind as the rook on c1 is undefended. But now after rook captures and rook captures, what's the idea after f captures on e4? Why did we just give up a piece? Well, the idea is rook to c1. And again, it just looks really stupid, but the position is so bad for white. Objectively, it's a draw, but it's so unplayable for white. I mean, look at this. We'll look at this structure. When was the last time you saw something like this? And it's very hard to actually find the move. Like, how do you play this? Bishop to f2, bishop to g7. And again, what can you do here? Bishop captures on e5 is happening. So what's with that? If rook captures on c1, which is the only move that doesn't lose you the game, now you play bishop captures on e5, and after rook to c8 check, king to g7. Good luck defending this with white. There's just, bishop to h2 check will be a very, very quick checkmate. Follow, bishop to h2 check, bishop g3, queen to h2 check, queen captures on f2 checkmate. And the only way to defend this is bishop to h4. Yeah, you have to free up the f2 square for your king, and by playing bishop to h4. And now after queen to h2 check, let's say king f1, queen h1 check, king to f2, queen captures on h4 with check. Black will have nothing better than to accept a perpetual here after queen h1, queen h4 check. So that is what was needed here in order to continue playing this game. But after bishop to h6, the position is now winning for Nodirbek. But again, very, very hard to see why. Feel free to pause the video and try to find the only way to win while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on finding this beautiful maneuver. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is rook to f2. Yes, that's the one. And I will show you why, but just for fun, I also want to show you what happens if you capture the bishop. Well, if you capture the bishop, Nepo's plan was bishop captures on e3 with a fork on the king and on the rook here. And after bishop to f2, now queen g3. And it's, again, just a perpetual. It's a very, very quick way to get a draw here. Queen g3 check, queen h3, and so on and so on. However, after rook to f2, Nodirbek's position is just completely winning. Unassailable, if you will. So how to play this? Well, it's still sort of possible to play if you find d4, but I don't think Nepo was interested in finding moves here. He was just really mad that he missed rook to f2. And that's pretty much it. But the reason why it's so strong, d4, is that after rook h2, looks, again, really, really awesome. Bishop captures on e3 with check. You give up the queen, captures, and, sorry, not captures, but first the queen captures on h2 with check. King captures, and now d captures on e3. And okay, two rooks and a bishop, two rooks versus a rook and two bishops, okay. White is better, obviously, but black can still fight. However, Nepo played queen to g3, and now the position is reached the point of no return. Rook to g2, and queen captures on e5. And now the problem is not the bishop here, the problem is bishop to g3. And now absolutely everything is hanging here. Nepo played queen to f6, but even with the tricky bishop to c2, which looks like it does something, it really doesn't. Just bishop captures on e5, and after bishop captures on b3, you don't recapture right away, as you will face bishop captures on e3. First g5, and now look at this. This bishop is hanging, this bishop is hanging, this rook is hanging, everything is hanging. This would be great for Nodirbek. And even after rook to c8, as the rook on c1 is still undefended, you'll just trade and capture on h6, you're up a full bishop, and of course completely winning. So after bishop to g3, queen to f6 by Nepo, but now just f captures on e4, and now Nodirbek is up a clean piece. We have d captures on e4, and now rook to f2, and he was in this position on move 27, that Nepomniachtchi resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. His queen is attacked, and there really isn't a good square for the queen. Like queen g5 will be met with bishop to f4, now attacking the bishop, only way to defend, runs into rook h2, and you lose another piece. On the other hand, if you try something like queen to e7, then rook to c7, and then the f7 pawn falls, and okay, you just resign. And if something like, let's say, queen to d8, which is also a possibility, now even rook captures on f7. And the bishop pair combined with the queen is a deadly combo here. King captures on f7, rook to f1, also the rook is here with check, king to e7, or anywhere else, doesn't really matter, as the two bishops control the entire board. Queen to a3 with check, with king to e8, bishop to b5 with check, and that's it. No more squares for the black king. You have to interpose here. Queen to d7, and now bishop to h4. Even this would be like a huge slap in the face. Your queen is hanging. If you capture the bishop, then just queen to e7 checkmate. And even if you give this one check, let's say captures in g5, you block the bishop, rook f8 or queen f8 will again be checkmate. So yeah, brilliant stuff by Nodirbek here. Nepo played a lot of tricky moves here, but he missed this very nice rook to f2 idea by Nodirbek, and after that there was just nothing more to be done here. Okay, with d4 still maybe possible to play, but again, if Nepo was in a mood, he would find that rook to c8 idea that we were discussing. Obviously he wasn't, so he didn't find this either. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I thought about showing it tomorrow, but yeah, I liked it too much, so I'm showing it today. But tomorrow we will show at least one, but most likely two. Let me just check if the gaming question is still being played. I'm gonna check it on my other monitor, not to spoil it for you guys. Let me just check real quickly. Oh yeah, everything's finished. I could tell you the results, but I'm going to do it in tomorrow's video. But Fabi's game did finish. Fabi was able to defeat Anish Giri, and the standings are, as I've mentioned, Alireza won, and Fabiano second place with 5.5 points. But we're gonna cover everything in the next video. I'm gonna check whether you guys would appreciate MVL versus Ding more, or maybe Fabi's game against Anish. So do comment on that as well. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I would like to thank Robert Stadelman, Jacob Servala, Jacobid, Oris the Great Dane who loves chess, and Andrei Shrade for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions, such as this one, and whatever else happens in the chess world. Thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.